Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Tunic. We'll be clearing this out. Why did I say there? We'll be clearing out this area in this part. So another boss time, huzzah!
You know,
Huzzah!
I thought the big ass crab was going to be a mini boss, but it's just a regular enemy.
Nope.
It kind of reminds me, just in concept of the hermit crab in Banjo-Kazooie.
Oh,
Just, like,
that
seeing it
guy!
off in the distance. Yeah, it really reminds me of that.
That guy's a dick.
Yeah, no, agree.
I wish I'd played more Banjo-Kazooie than I have.
It's on Switch Online, so
Yeah,
you
I
can
know.
play for free.
Yeah, I know.
Free there. I feel like a lot of the appeal is lost if you're used to modern games, unfortunately. Because as much as there's definitely a secret there. As much as I love the games, they are dated and clunky in many ways.
Yeah, they are. I mean, also, I think the one that's on NSO is obviously going to be based on the N64 version, which the collectibles are hell on the
Yeah,
N64.
no, that's like the fact that you lose. I think when they were making the original Banjo-Kazooie, they didn't quite understand what kind of game that they were making. Like, I think that they
Yeah.
were still in the mindset of, older games, like SNES games, where if you die, you have to start over, where that's, like, not really the kind of vibe that a collectathon like that goes for, where, you don't want to have to pick up 99 notes all over again because you died at the very end of the platforming bit in Rusty Bucket
Yeah,
Bay.
I think the Xbox version, just because of that one specific thing, the Xbox version still is the quintessential way to experience Banjo-Kazooie.
I will
Yeah.
say, the sequel, Banjo-Tooie, I'd say it's basically the same experience as on Xbox, because for some reason the NSO version doesn't have the lag that the N64 version did. Like, the original Banjo-Tooie on N64
really?
runs at, like, at best, like 20 frames per second most of the time. The frame rate's really choppy, but on NSO, for some reason, it runs much smoother. Like, I think it goes above 30 most of the time. So
That's actually pretty cool. I don't remember too much about Banjo-Tooie. I played precious little of it growing up, and I haven't played it as an adult yet. I want to go back and play it eventually.
that's the
But,
game
like,
I
they're
had growing up. I played that more than the first one, so I like it better. But I acknowledge
that's
I'm the
fair.
weirdo because everybody else disagrees with me. So,
I think it was just a bit more spread out and a bit different. And
Yeah.
so, gamers and things being different, TM.
Yeah.
But the two things that I remember out of Banjo-Tooie was the frame rate
Yeah, the frame rate's real bad.
and Green Dragon Kazooie.
Oh yeah, Green Dragon Kazooie is also. I think they changed how you unlock that in the XBLA version. I think you do need to get the ice key from Banjo-Kazooie and then, like, save and port it over, because they wanted to bring back
Oh.
that stop and swap idea. So
Really?
yeah, because, like, in Tooie, if you're playing on N64, you get the ice key just by, like, dicking around in Spiral Mountain or something. It's just like
Right.
it was hiding there the whole time. Okay. But I believe you have to get it in Kazooie and then bring it over to open the cage that gets you the thing that gets you Dragon Kazooie in
What? Why?
the X
Why?
Huh.
What was the stop and swap idea, and what was so interesting about it?
So the idea was that the game, you would have Banjo-Kazooie running on your N64. You would stop and swap the games. So you would leave Banjo-Kazooie on. You would take the cartridge out and you would swap Banjo-Tooie into the N64. And the idea would be you could, like, bring power-ups or abilities from the second game into the first game, or bring the ice key and eggs that you unlocked in the first game into the second game and get, like, extra secrets and stuff like that. That was the idea. It didn't end up ever happening because Nintendo saw that Rare was like, yeah, and then you yank your cartridge out of the console. And they were like, no, you don't. It also just straight up doesn't work depending on the version of the N64 you're operating on. It has something to do with the RAM in the system and how long it's active, but certain... Or maybe it's not. I could be talking out of my ass.
No, that is one of the things. If you have the expansion pass, I believe, the RAM refreshes too fast for you to really do stop and swap.
Yeah, because I know that stopping and swapping is a thing that can impact other games. Like, for example, the fastest way to beat Paper Mario and speedrun it is to start off by playing Ocarina of Time, doing shit with the RAM in Ocarina of Time, stop, and then putting the Paper Mario cartridge in, so the RAM's the way you need it, to glitch some way and skip straight to the credits.
Really?
Yeah. So if you ever look up like a world record speedrun of Paper Mario, it starts with you playing Ocarina of Time.
That's hilarious and wild. That, like, I know that's old tech or whatever, but man, technology is wild.
So Nintendo basically stopped the idea and said, no, don't do that. And so it never really went anywhere, but Rare kind of cataloged it somewhere. And so that's where I think stop and swap is straight up just mentioned in the first game as well. So that's just how it like came to be known. It was just, so you asked the appeal of it. It's more just kind of this like legacy sort of thing where it's just like this cut concept from a beloved game from the 90s.
Yeah.
In concept, it's mostly just save file, carryover, which plenty of games have done. The more interesting thing would, be being able to take stuff from the later game and put it into the older one. But,
Knuckles and Sonic 2, anyone?
Yeah. Actually, Knuckles and Sonic 2 is a good example of that. But, and that's the kind of thing that you can't just replicate with a save file import,
The thing that makes me think, though, is that, like, it sounds like a good way to get kids to ruin their N64.
Yes, that's why Nintendo stopped it. Yeah, that's straight up the reason why Nintendo, and especially back in the 90s, Nintendo was very, 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 like, anything that could be resembling, like, a glitch or a cheat, which is why, there would be things in Nintendo Power that said if you do missing no glitches or Safari zone glitches, that you could permanently damage your Pokemon. Yeah.
Save file.
I think...
Which is untrue, by the way. It only messes with the Hall of Fame.
I mean, knowing Pokemon, I'm sure you could glitch the game so bad that it becomes unplayable. Probably not like that. Probably not just by duplicating Master Balls or whatnot. But I'm sure that... But
well, the warning being there makes sense because they don't necessarily know the full extent of the glitch.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I understand that too, but Nintendo also, they just didn't like the idea of anything that could be resembling like that, because, they want to be known for quality products without glitches, which is funny when you look at some of the games they made, but, that's neither here nor there.
It makes some sense for them to be wary of it, because PC gaming in particular... glitches could get really bad in some PC games. Like, there are soft locks galore in certain games. If you were playing something like an old Elder Scrolls game, common practice was to save in multiple save slots because you never know when something might completely break and you need to revert.
That was actually something when I started playing other RPGs. I was playing... I think it's Tales of Symphonia for the first time. I was like, why does this game have so many save slots? Who needs this many save slots? And then it wasn't until later I realized, oh, that's why. Okay.
Yeah.
I also think but it's just Nintendo doesn't like glitches in general. It's to the point where, like, for Mario Maker in particular, like, a game like that is going to have glitches in it. But whenever Nintendo would patch those glitches, people would get mad because they would use those exploits to make Mario levels.
Why is the librarian a floating Jedi?
Why not?
Wait, does the pause menu not pause the game?
Nope, it's Dark Souls.
Oh. Wait, so what do you do if you have to go to the bathroom while you're playing Dark Souls?
You know, I'm gonna say this right now. I hate that the Dark Souls games and the Souls-likes do the real-time, not a pause menu thing.
I'm just thinking of the really old angry video game nerd rant where it's just like, I got shit stains in my pants and a phone message saying I can't come to the phone right now. I'm playing Ghostbusters 2 on Nintendo. Have a fucking pause. I know that for a game like this in modern games, you can just go to the home menu to simulate a pause. But I agree. I like it when I feel like I can just pause the game and the game pauses.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I mean, it's fine if they don't want you changing out your items or whatever in a pause menu. Just, you know, have a second real-time menu to manage that shit. I want to be able to actually just, you know, put the game down and go take a piss or something.
Yeah, or like, just omit the parts of the menu you don't want them to access when they pause in the middle of something dangerous, when you have aggro on something or something or other.
That is true, right? Because a lot of games can, like, tell, like, oh, you're in combat mode or not in combat mode and adjust that kind of thing. But, like, do the Souls games really not have, like, any kind of pause button at all? Like,
Nope.
No, you have to find a safe corner and hunker down and cross your fingers.
Part of it is that they're like is that they're supposed to be like semi-online kind of experiences, but
oh, you know what? That's a good point. I didn't think about that. I played it offline, so I don't really like experience the online portion of the Dark Souls game.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, they don't even let you pause when you deliberately pick play offline, so
yeah.
So it's like, And the other thing, though, is that in a difficult game like this, sometimes I just want to pause to catch my breath, you know?
yeah.
It's like, I play better when I'm not completely stressed the fuck out. So, sometimes I need to pause and stop, take a few deep breaths, and then unpause and continue playing.
But that's not realistic in my fantasy-oriented game.
I'll tell you what's not realistic. Dodge rolling giving you invincibility frames.
Lewis, I don't know what to tell you. The Fox's dodge roll definitely can go through the magic librarian laser beams. That makes it... Yeah, see, look, definitely dodged it. Like, it didn't just go through you and you were tumbling, so it doesn't count. There is a Star Wars Souls-like game, right? Like,
yeah, Jedi Survivor.
Jedi. What is it? What's the first one called? I know Jedi Survivor is the sequel. Jedi Order.
I'm thinking of the way most Souls-like games look like when you're fighting in them, and I'm just like, yeah, that could work for Jedi flippy shit. Like, because the prequel is Jedi flippy nonsense. Like, I can see that being a Dark Souls like dodge roll that just makes it so you don't get hit. It's the Force. It doesn't have to make sense.
The funny thing about Fallen Order and Survivor is you're actually pretty slow by Jedi standards. It's like, it is a Souls-like, and that means your attacks do have a certain amount of weight and deliberation to them. It's actually not as, like, fast and fluid as Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor make it look.
That does also make a good amount of sense, though, because I guess that they're set in the... What do they call it? Original era or classic era or whatever?
Well, kind of between, really.
Yeah. Yeah, because I know that they call them, like, if you're talking about stuff set before the Empire, it's called prequel era. And if you're talking about stuff set after Return of the Jedi, it's called sequel era.
Oh, the expanded universe has a whole list of different era names for different parts of the timeline. So, you know. But like the first thing you do in Fallen Order when you start the game is your character's working at a junkyard where you're disassembling a bunch of crashed or junked Republic Star Destroyers for parts. So it's like you're taking apart the Republic era during the rise of the Empire.
Symbolism! Oh, hi. Hey there, buddy.
Teleportation, yeah.
I do... I just find it funny. It's just like somebody just pops in behind you and stabs you in the neck and then leaves with no explanation.
And with no remorse.
Do you think
With a
that
smile
those
on
eyes
their
are the
face.
eyes of mercy?
I do actually recommend Fallen Order and its sequel, though. They're really good games.
I don't think that the actual Souls-like genre is necessarily for me. Because I'm just, well, for one, they're all really unforgiving. So, and
these are some of the easier.
less...
These are some of the easier Souls games.
Yeah, part of the reason I recommend Fallen Order and stuff is like it has a few challenging optional bosses and stuff, but when you're playing on normal mode, it's fairly comfortable.
Okay, then that's something. Then, I've generally, as I've been getting older, like have been having less patience for hard games. So.
I don't
That's
mind
valid.
difficult games as long as they're not obscenely long.
Yeah, I would just recommend Fallen Order as a game to like get used to the Souls-like formula because you still have to consider a lot of the same things. Like when you're fighting, like you have to get out of that button mashy mindset and all, but it's not that punishing, and it has a pause menu.
Yo!
Oh, nice.
Holy crap!
I like hard games, so the thing that gets me is when you have a hard game and it's inconvenient to get back to where you left off.
Oh,
Stares
yeah.
at Dark Souls 1. I don't like the walk back, but if it's nice and snappy and I can just like, start off again where I left off, then I throw all the hard things at me. That I'm fine with, and I think of Celeste when I'm saying that specifically.
Yeah, Celeste is very good about that, but that's the end of that part, so we'll see you all in the next part of Tunic. See you all then. Bye.